Ladies and gentlemen, our final category this evening is Western Australia's 2022 Australian of the Year Award. This award category celebrates the achievements and contributions of eminent Australians who are role models to us. They are trailblazers. They do not wait to be asked. They see that need, they share their talent, and they inspire us all. Let's take a closer look at our nominees for Western Australia's 2022 Australian of the Year.
Kirsten Butcher has led vital innovations to drive Australia's successful response to COVID-19. Kirsten founded Western Australia-based technology company Genvis to foster public safety through high-impact software that simplifies complex and time-consuming tasks. Her vision for public safety energises her tireless efforts to protect people in Australia through technology product innovations, including G2G Pass, G2G Now, and the Safe WA check-in and contact tracing platform. State police and health departments rely on Kirsten and the critical work she leads to protect Western Australia's economic prosperity and way of life. Julia Hales is a performance artist dedicated to sharing the experiences of people living with disability, in particular Down syndrome. In 2018, Julia presented the world premiere of You Know We Belong Together, an autobiographical play on love, relationships, acceptance and belonging, experienced by a woman who also happens to have Down syndrome. A passionate advocate within her community, Julia demonstrates through her art what she and others with Down syndrome are capable of. She's dispelling prejudice and creating opportunities for people like her. As the co-founder and CEO of the Centre for Accessibility Australia, CFA, Dr. Scott Hollier is improving digital accessibility for people with disabilities, giving them equal access to technology and the internet. The CFA drives impact through advocacy, research, training, auditing services, and the Australian Access Awards. It's been instrumental in growing the accessibility movement in Australia, highlighting the people and organisations leading the way. A great storyteller, Scott, who is also legally blind, helps people better understand accessibility issues, putting them in the shoes of those who struggle to access technology and the internet. While working as a police officer in the Technology Crime Unit, Paul Litherland became acutely aware of just how vulnerable kids were on the internet. He also felt frustration at the lack of legislation available to help fight internet crime. In response, Paul began conducting cyber safety presentations at schools. By 2014, he turned his passion into a business, founding Surf Online Safe to educate teachers, students and parents about internet awareness and safety. Paul has spoken at hundreds of schools and organisations, delivering his cyber safety message to more than 250,000 people.
A round of applause for our nominees for Western Australia's Australian of the Year. How do you choose? How do you decide when there is so much extraordinarily diverse, specific, important work being done? Well, I'd like to invite Western Australia's 2021 Australian of the Year, Professor Helen Milroy, to make her way to the stage to help present the trophy.
And I announce the fact that the 2022 Australian of the Year for Western Australia is Paul Litherland.
Ladies and gentlemen, Western Australia's 2022 Australian of the Year is Paul Litherland. Paul, can you tell us about SOS and the police career before it that made you think that this was now the thing you had to do?
Oh, Jeff, I just found, I suppose, a flaw in the system in regards to the stuff I was dealing with at tech crime, the crimes coming through. I just kept telling parents and kids there's not much we could do, and I needed to close that gap, and by doing that, choosing education, I suppose, is where SOS was born. I just started getting out to schools and talking to kids about the risks I was seeing and what they could do to minimise those risks. And I started in 2010 my kids' school, and 8 years later or 9 years later we've 600 schools, and I'm a busy boy and more grey hair, so we're going all right. All right.
How great the challenge of keeping kids safe online when the nature of the threat and the technology itself is changing so quickly.
It's very difficult. I mean, I'm in the middle of the industry and I struggle to keep up, so this is why I have so much empathy for parents and kids especially, because this world's just going way too quick, and no one's out there really protecting them. The networks are not doing their job, I don't believe. So for me, it's just about trying to really be a voice for them and just make their playgrounds a little bit safer. That's what it's all about. That's what SOS is about.
So what's the essence of your message to kids and their families?
For me, it's just to slow down, take time to look around. I say to my kids a fair bit. I was at a school yesterday and I say it every time. I said, you guys are smart, you're techie, you're smarter than your parents, and most of them go, you bloody oath we are. So just take time to slow down. Let's take a look around our playgrounds online like we do our real world, and I reckon we're halfway there. And our kids are resilient, and for me it's just about giving those understandings to know that they have that power to make that change and look after themselves, because sadly the playgrounds they're playing in these days aren't probably working as hard enough to do that for them.
What does it mean to be the West Australian of the Year for 2022?
For me, I suppose it's just, I mean, I love to have a chat. Anyone who knows me knows that anyway, but for me it's just now, it gives me an opportunity to hopefully get a little bit higher and throw that voice out a little bit further, and to really challenge our organisations and challenge those creating these environments, gaming and social networking as an example, just to take a little bit more time in regards to ethical design. And I'm not the only one doing that. There's some amazing people in Australia who are educating, and so for me that ethical design and that safety by design is what I'm all about, and this gives me an opportunity now to shout that from the rooftops, hopefully.
And what was it like to be a former copper when a little kid was given back to her parents yesterday? I've got a great opportunity, I suppose, to comment on that. I mean, those coppers would not have had much sleep at all. Most of them are dads, so dads and mums. So for me, that is a side of policing a lot of people just don't see. And for Cleo to be able to say those words and know that she was safe, that'll be a highlight for those officers' careers for the rest of their lives. So yeah, and that's what we're all about. At the end of the day, whether I've left the job or not, we're all here. We're all here to help people, and that's what it's about. And to all the recipients tonight and all the nominees, it has been an honour to meet you. It really has, because we're all on the same page, and that's what it's about for me. It's just about being a voice and looking after everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, our 2022 West Australian of the Year is Paul Litherland. Let's give him a huge round of applause. Good for you, mate. God bless you. Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, I would like you to please put your hands together and do some hugging and get rid of some droplets as we make some noise for our 4 recipients this evening. WA's local hero is Craig Hollywood. WA's Young Australian of the Year is Kendall White. WA's Senior Australian of the Year, the rock star Jan Standen. And WA's Australian of the Year is Paul Litherland.